The Indians thought hot springs were holy places because of their healing qualities. That belief has been shared by many over the past 100 years. One of Oregon's favorite hot springs was first discovered in the 1880s by a trapper named Robert Bagby. The Forest Service took it over 30 years later. The service was responsible for providing easier access to the secluded area, and a bathhouse was built for the bathers. But as the number of people who enjoyed Bagby grew, so did the problems. Because it is a remote area, vandalism has taken its toll, and 4 years ago the bathhouse burned to the ground, destroying most of the tubs.
The Forest Service was fighting with a dilemma as to what to do with Bagby Hot Springs once it burned down. And the Friends of Bagby, although very loosely organized, did come to the Forest Service and wanted to give us some assistance. And what started as a very loose idea that was not very well defined has grown into this.
That growth is being nurtured by hard work. Since August, this group, known as the Friends of Bagby, have donated at least 60 hours a month to give the hot springs a second chance. They gather early on chilly Saturday mornings to hike into the springs.
Okay, let's get it going then, I guess, Earl.
Get the trail and get some work done.
Okay.
Set them up, move them out.
They pack in all of their tools and gear. Sometimes they have a little help. And they don't head home until Sunday night.
It's a tremendous project to be conquered or attacked by an organization such as ours. But the drive that these people have is so strong. Now you're going to get volunteers who are going to come and volunteers who are going to go. And you're going to have a turnover. You've got members that pay their dues and you never see them. They come up and visit. And then you've got the other people that have a dedication to this area that will work no matter what and whatever it takes to get it done.
The Friends of Bagby have over 100 members donating time and money. They are doctors, lawyers, businessmen, students, sometimes people just passing through. But they all have one thing in common. They share a love for the springs and a desire to see it rebuilt. They are completely dependent on donations of time and equipment. They're making most of the new tubs and cutting all of their own boards for the new structures. The group itself has gone through a sort of rebirth. Last year, this new group formed with the purpose of renovating the hot springs. Recently, they were granted a 5-year building permit by the Forest Service, and they plan on doing a lot of work in that time.
Beginning of next year or in spring, when the weather permits, we're going to start building the platform down below at the main spring. We're going to rebuild the old bathhouse with 5 new 10-foot long cedar or hollowed-out cedar log tubs.
Besides rebuilding, they have already put in a tub at the upper springs. When the whole project is finished, there will be areas for both nude and clothed bathing. The group also plans to have someone on the site at all times to prevent vandalism in the future. Although the Forest Service has often used volunteer groups to do work it doesn't have the manpower or funds to do itself, it has never had anyone take on such a big project before. At first, the service was hesitant, unsure that the group could accomplish all it said it could. But now, the Forest Service says it's optimistic about what the Friends can do in the next 5 years.
If there are problems, we want to take them head on, and I'm sure the Friends of Bagby do too. So we'll be reviewing this every year, and if there are problems, we'll fix them. And at the end of 5 years, hopefully we will start a whole new era.
The Friends of Bagby plan on being part of that new era for some very special reasons.
There's nothing up here. There's no electricity, no running water, there's nothing. And so the people that come up here because it is so special to them for that reason. They can come up here to be away from the hustle and bustle. It's tranquil and relaxing.